And
Yes.
one thing, Brandon, that I've noticed that I'd love to get your opinion on is for the last like couple of months now, you know how algorithms, they figure out what you like and they tailor content to you, right? Specifically. And so I'll be on YouTube and I will search about things like, I don't know, man, like YouTubers, Gary Vaynerchuk, entrepreneurs, X, Y, and Z. And one of the most common advertisements that I get is some 18 to 22-year-old in a suit that is not his, in a car that's probably not his, two girls by his side, trying to tell me how he became a millionaire by the age of 12. And
Yeah.
if I take his course, I could also, and then you press on the link, it takes you to a website and a timer starts. An 8 minute timer starts because that's when the course, is only valid for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
But you have to be fast, Brandon, because there's only
Yeah.
3 spots left, and the course is $2,000. But for you, because I'm a good person, I'll bring it down to 250. Like, what are your thoughts on that, man? Like on that world?
I frown. I frown upon those kind of practices, those kind of business ethics and practices, because they are using a lot of psychological concepts of persuasion that we've learned about
Mm-hmm,
and are very
mm-hmm,
common
mm-hmm.
in marketing. And it is almost it's taking advantage of the human mind, and a lot of people that may not have um, a certain level of critical thinking or an education level of a certain level, that are getting taken advantage of by some of those programs that are out there. And I do definitely frown on that. And there are some ethical things I look at with somebody before I readily believe their message, for sure.
Good, my friend. Good. I feel like their biggest targets, because you see the same patterns, like you said yourself, right? Like there's so much deceptive psychology embedded in
Yeah.
marketing. Whether it's the foot in the door phenomenon, right? You buy a $5
Yeah.
course, then a 15, then the golden package 80, XYZ, and then just like using your emotions and your fears against you. Oh, if you don't take this course, it'll be the worst mistake of your life. Or like, don't you love your parents, Brandon? Don't you want them to retire early? For them, Brandon,
Yes,
take my course.
totally.
Like it is so just dirty and manipulative and
It is. And you're taking advantage of a person's state of being that they're in. They might not be in the greatest of places at that time. There might be a certain amount of desperation. They might be financially strapped, and they are looking for a way out. And unfortunately, that's what they come across. And that can do more harm than good, frequently.
definitely, my friend. And I think you said it yourself, when the brain hasn't fully developed yet, especially the frontal lobe, the place responsible for those rational decisions. One thing that we see people our age, and especially, and I get it too from time to time, is impatience, right? If I do sit-ups today, I want sit-ups by tomorrow morning. Excuse me, I want a six-pack by tomorrow morning. If I start YouTube today, I would love to have 1 million subscribers by tomorrow. Like, we want it fast, right? Inherently,
Yeah.
that instant gratification. And I think that's the big part where they prey on it, right? You hear, they'll say, hey, make money quick, get fit quick.
Yes.
Like it's that quick because you're 18, you're young, school's boring, and they'll be like, oh, I was a lazy, high school dropout, and now instead of working the dumb 9 to 5, I work my own job making it. Where it's like, dude, it's like, first of all, like, just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean that lifestyle is for everybody.
Exactly.
What if that person
Exactly.
loves their 9 to 5? What if they're a high school teacher making 60K a year and they wake up with a smile on their face because that is their
Yeah.
passion?
Yes. And that's something I always keep in the back of my mind too. And especially when doing something like this, I try to be aware that anybody that is listening to this, or even when I go out and if I do any teaching eventually, that I'm not looking for a one size fits all sort of thing. Is you have to honor and acknowledge that every single person comes from a totally different background. Everybody's so colossally different when it comes down to all the different factors that line up. That is something you do need to take into account. And a lot of the advice I have is stuff that I have personally done. It's essentially, it's worked for me, but it might not work for everybody. And when we talked about nutrition, when we talked about school, that is something I did try to pass off, that we are all different. What worked for me may not work for you, and don't be discouraged if it doesn't work for you, because I am not you, and that person you're following is not you. And it is okay to be different from that person. It is okay to be you. And it just, unfortunately, don't come with a manual. And it would be nice if we did. Then you'd know, like, don't feed beans. Like, oh, that's good to know. And,
For
a
sure,
list of
man, for sure.
potential effects.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we don't have that manual, and it can be a little bit of trial and error to figure out, what are those life patterns that work best for you. Perhaps being that millionaire is not what's best for you. It's But you got to believe that you can still be at peace and have a totally happy and satisfying life without emulating your life after somebody else who appears to have everything that you want. Yeah.
Exactly, my friend. That's the biggest message that we're trying to really put out there. If you go to Brandon, you don't have Instagram, correct?
No.
No, gotcha. But if you're ever, if I go to Instagram right now and I do hashtag, let's say, millionaire mindset or hashtag entrepreneur or hashtag success, it's the same photos. It's a Rolex watch, models, bottles, cars. And the problem with that is you think, okay, the only way to be successful is to live that lifestyle. If I don't
Yeah.
have the cars, I guess I'm not successful. And it's really taking away, well, man, maybe that's just that specific person's view of success, right? Maybe yours is just start a family. Like that might, you might be successful. Maybe for you it might be, just have a six pack. You might, you know what I mean? So I think it's
Yeah.
really important to, just what you said, just it's subjective.
And oftentimes, just to add on to that, yes, it is that individual's view of success, but oftentimes it's not even that individual's definition of success. It is a social definition, something
Hmm.
that's been
Hmm.
passed down through that person's environment, whether it be their parents, what they've seen on TV, their social structures. That's what's been passed down to them. So their idea of success is not actually, their idea. They did not create that idea. It was, they've just been passed along through their environment what their idea of success is. You know, um, Success is an interesting topic because I personally don't believe success is measured in dollars.
Mm.
I think it's measured in a lot of other ways outside of currency, material currency. It could be, the most cliche would be to say, success is measured in happiness dollars, something like that,
Mm.
which is true for some. That might be their goal, is just to be at peace and happy. But I think success is also an individual thing. For somebody who, is suffering with, say, in a major depressive episode, getting up and having a shower for that day is success. Something that, and then for another person, going out to your business meeting and making $1 million is success to them. And success means something differently to every person. And I don't really believe in programs, telling people how to be successful, unless that success is along the lines of, leading you upon your own defined version of success.
Good, my friend. I'm glad we see eye to eye, my friend. You're right. You're 100% right. I think happiness is intuitively, it's embedded in success, right? Like with what you want out of life.
Yeah, personally, I fall along the lines, true success is that peaceful factor. But sometimes you can be successful at the expense of things around you. For a
Mm.
lot, for example, a lot of people feel successful, but they're also, at the expense of, say, some natural resources of our planet, or at the expense of the life of another. And that's kind of, one of those gray areas, a line where it's tough to define true success, because that person may feel successful, but another person may think, look at that guy. Yeah, he's got money, but look at the misery of, say, the people that work for him, or look at the
Hmm.
wake of
Hmm.
destruction he just left. So again, it is a tricky concept. And maybe success isn't the right word to use. Maybe we're too focused on the word success, and need to, focus our attention elsewhere, for the time being.
That's really well said, Brandon. I think you're right, man. I think everybody should just take a step back and really think about, why do we use success? What does that mean to us personally? And maybe we should use a different term.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if we replace success with happiness, right? And happiness could be whatever happiness is in your own, subjective opinion.